Association because everyone was expecting the Warriors to make noise at the deadline, with many having them as a front runner to land Giannis. But overnight, news broke that Golden State is trading Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield to the Atlanta Hawks for Kristaps Porzingis. The Warriors got their much-needed big man in Porzingis. However, he has appeared in only 17 games for the Hawks this season due to a tricky illness. This closes the chapter for Buddy Hield and Jonathan Kuminga in Golden State, but gives them both a fresh start now in Atlanta. We now welcome Monica McNutt, who's looking fly here on the set. and Brian Windhorst is going to join us here as well. Good morning, Wendy.
Look, RC, I'm cold. I got a short haircut. I run cold like I'm cold. So here's my hat and here's my look.
This is not Chicago in the NFL playoffs.
Don't worry, I wouldn't
8-degree weather.
I wouldn't
Monica.
have on this hat in Chicago because you can actually get nice little breeze up under the ears. I'd have on a different hat, so we're good.
Can we talk about this trade yesterday? Okay, so with Kristaps now going to the Warriors, Wendy, I'm going to go to you first on this. Does this basically mean Giannis is not getting traded by the 3 p.m. Eastern deadline today?
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say that yet, but I say he's not getting traded to the Warriors because this was a move where the Warriors moved on when they realized they weren't going to get a deal done with Milwaukee, and they get a guy who I think is more of a pre-agency move. They may want to sign Kristaps Porzingis long-term after the season. This is really an indication of where the Bucks are thinking here, because the Warriors' offer from a draft pick standpoint was the strongest offer out there. And if you look at the last two championship teams, the Thunder and the Celtics, they were built through draft-based trades of star players. And so if that's the way you're going to follow in your Milwaukee, that's why Golden State made the most sense. And Milwaukee passed. And so they moved on. Minnesota, who was also very aggressively trying to get Giannis, they have moved on. About 10 minutes ago, Shams reported that they have traded 4 second-round picks and Rob Dillingham, a lottery pick from last year, for Ayo Dosunmu from the Bulls. They will be the guard that they're going to put for the foreseeable future alongside Anthony Edwards. So you can tell that Minnesota and Golden State think they're not getting Giannis today. The Miami Heat are still out there, and the Heat, as last I heard, were still trying to make moves to improve their offer that they can make to Milwaukee. And they have an offer that is sort of a blend of young players and draft picks. It's sort of a hybrid offer when you compare Minnesota to Golden State, so it would sort of be a middle path. That said, the Heat can make a better offer, a more draft pick-rich offer later this summer. So teams in the league right now believe it is most likely that Giannis stays put. But Miami is still there, and I want to point out that I will never put anything past Andy Ellisberg, their GM, and the aggression of Pat Riley. So keep an eye with Miami. Cleveland sniffed around on Giannis, but now that they've made the James Harden deal, I think they're probably set. Portland has been out there in the marketplace looking for assets also to try to make a deal for Giannis. The reason that they make some sense is because they have a bunch of Bucks draft assets from the Damian Lillard trade. But what I'm getting around to here is, Stephen A., Giannis, he can't get what he wants unless he asks for it. If he doesn't say to the Bucks, I want to be traded, not this messing around. Doesn't say the words, I want to be traded, and I want to be traded to New York, or I want to be traded to Miami. That's where I'm going to sign. He's left the door open for the Bucks to play this game, and now the game is going to, swung probably in the Bucks' favor.
And that's what's surprising about all of this, because Giannis is one of the most straight-up dudes you'll ever encounter in professional sport. He will tell you what he feels. He will tell you why he feels that way, and he's not shy about it. But somehow, for some reason, when it comes to the Milwaukee Bucks, simply being public about it and saying, I want to be gone, is something he's highly reluctant to do. And so because of it, it gives Milwaukee the wiggle room to play around, entertain an abundance of offers, wait, move fast, or, he's giving them more control that they actually deserve to have, considering who he is and the cachet that he brings. When healthy, this is one of the top 5 players on the planet. This is Giannis that we're talking about here. When you've got that kind of cachet and you've delivered the championship to the franchise, you get to say, I want out. I want to go here. That's what I was hoping for with the New York Knicks. The only reason I changed course is because those 4 calf injuries
yeah.
in the last 19 months. If it wasn't for that, Eminem, I'm telling you right now. And I love you, girl.
We
You know,
had this conversation.
I love you, girl. I wouldn't care if they traded you to get him. They trade you too.
Dang,
They trade everybody. I mean, and you, Wendy, and everybody else, the equipment manager, I don't give a damn who it is. A healthy Giannis in New York with Jalen Brunson, I would give away the dance team, the equipment manager, the chauffeur. I'd do anything. Get Giannis at the Garden. But those calf injuries scare me because of Tyrese Halliburton and Dame Lillard and KD in the past. And I just worry. Jason Tatum now, I just worry about that. So Knicks stand pat.
Yeah. I want to go back to how you started the conversation, S.A., because you are right. Giannis has 100% earned the right within the league to say what he wants. And so for me, it becomes very clear that this is intentional not to say what he wants, right? Last week when we were having this conversation with Wendy, he pointed out how the offers can be improved in the summer. To me, it seems clear that by not making a statement emphatically that he wants to roll, Giannis is waiting, it seems at least, and I could be wrong. Wendy just told us that Miami is still scrambling, but it seems like.
Tonight, Warriors Nation, the NBA trade deadline delivered one of the most unexpected and dramatic sequences of moves we've seen in years, and Golden State is right at the center of it. After weeks of rumors, speculation, and fans dreaming of a historic blockbuster like Giannis Antetokounmpo in the Bay, the Warriors have made a bold and decisive roster move. League sources confirmed that Golden State has traded forward Jonathan Kuminga and sharpshooter Buddy Hield to the Atlanta Hawks in exchange for veteran center Kristaps Porzingis as part of a flurry of deadline deals that have reshaped the league's landscape. This transaction effectively marks the end of the Warriors' pursuit of Giannis this season and signals a new direction for Steve Kerr's squad as they push toward the playoffs. Now let's break down what this means in real terms. First, when you hear names like Kuminga and Hield leaving Golden State, it's understandable that Dub Nation might have mixed emotions. Kuminga was the 7th overall pick in 2021, a young, athletic wing with star potential whose inconsistent usage and injuries saw him fall in Steve Kerr's rotation this season. Hield, meanwhile, was a veteran sharpshooter who contributed key moments, including memorable playoff performances, but had fallen out of the rotation in recent months. But let's put this in perspective. This deadline wasn't about just making a splash or chasing headlines. The Warriors didn't land Giannis, yes, but they didn't overextend either. Golden State entered this deadline looking to balance competitiveness, chemistry, and financial flexibility. They explored serious conversations for Giannis, offering packages including multiple first-round assets and young players. But in the end, Milwaukee chose to keep its franchise cornerstone for now, holding firm against mid-season pressure. That's the context we need before we talk about what they did get. Kristaps Porzingis is a 7'2" big man with elite shooting and rim protection when healthy. Despite limited games this season due to injury and illness, his track record, averaging near 20 points and nearly 2 blocks per game for his career, is exactly the kind of impact the Warriors have needed in the frontcourt for years. He stretches defenses with his shooting, can make plays both inside and out, and provides a rim presence that complements the Warriors' motion offense and elite shooters. Imagine this on paper. Stephen Curry maneuvering off screens while Porzingis spaces the floor, Draymond Green controlling the tempo with his elite defensive instincts, and a more balanced lineup that can attack mismatches at multiple levels. When Porzingis is healthy, his length and shot-blocking ability change the way opponents attack Golden State. Suddenly, the Warriors don't just pace teams, they control matchups. That's a strategic shift that addresses a roster weakness without mortgaging the future. Yes, there are injury concerns. Porzingis has battled health issues in recent seasons, but the Warriors didn't trade away their future. They maintained multiple first-round draft assets and acquired a veteran with an expiring contract, which preserves flexibility into the offseason. This signals a team that is strategic, calculated, and focused on positioning themselves for maximum impact in May and June, rather than overreacting to the pressure of a single deadline. And here's the crucial piece of optimism. The league landscape just shifted in the Warriors' favor. With Giannis staying put in Milwaukee this season, that means the Western Conference doesn't gain another absolute juggernaut, and that leaves space for the Warriors to climb the standings and secure more favorable matchups. Instead of competing in a gauntlet with another top perennial contender, Golden State now has a clearer path to protect home court and enter the playoffs with real momentum. Let's apply some real basketball logic here. The Warriors have built their success not by peaking at the deadline, but by constructing depth, spacing the floor, and leveraging the brilliance of Steph Curry. Curry, a two-time MVP and perennial All-Star, thrives in systems where his shots are open and defenses are stretched thin. Adding a versatile big like Porzingis accomplishes that in a way few other players could. Moreover, Draymond Green's leadership and defensive prowess suddenly have a partner who can protect the rim while also spacing the floor. Porzingis doesn't just bring points, he brings a different style of play that opponents must respect, forcing switches and creating mismatches that open up Curry and others. That's tactical evolution, and that's something the Warriors have mastered under Steve Kerr's guidance. And here's one final thought. The Warriors didn't panic. They didn't chase an unavailable superstar and compromise their identity. Instead, they made a focused, bold, roster-improving move that balances short-term competitiveness with long-term flexibility. They stood firm, protected their assets, and now enter the final stretch of the season with a roster that, on paper, fits together better than it did at the start of the year. That's a blueprint for consistency, stability, and ultimately a deeper playoff run. So, Warriors Nation, let's wrap this up with the heart of the matter. This deadline didn't go the way every fan hoped. Giannis didn't come to Golden State, and a beloved young player like Kuminga won't be in blue and gold anymore. But when you zoom out and look at the strategic picture, this trade makes the Warriors better equipped for April and beyond. They protected their future, improved their present, and reinforced the culture that made them champions. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think the Warriors made the right move by trading for Porzingis? Do you believe this sets them up for a stronger playoff push than chasing a blockbuster like Giannis? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, hit that like button if you're still all in for this season, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any updates as the Warriors continue their championship journey.